Parshas Korach. This is a shmuz adapted from the shmuz of Hagoyin Reb Chaim Shmulevich Zeichet Tzaddik Levrocha. It says in Masechta Brochus, Gemara Brochus, Daf Chav Zayin Omid Beis, 27b. It says there was Rabban Gamliel, the Nosi, the prince of Klal Yisrael, caused anguish to the honor of another Tana, Rabbi Yeshua. And because this was the fourth time already that Rabban Gamliel caused anguish to Rabbi Yeshua, all the Talmidim decided that we must depose of Rabban Gamliel from being the Nasi and appoint somebody else in his place. The Gemara says they were selecting who would be appropriate to fill the shoes of Rabban Gamliel as being a Nasi, as being the prince. And they did not appoint Rabbi Yeshua, the one who Rabban Gamliel caused anguish to, even though he was, of course, Roy, he was fit to be the Nasi. But the Gemara says they didn't appoint Rabbi Yeshua because it would have caused too much anguish to Rabban Gamliel. If the person that he caused anguish to is now going to be the Nasi, the prince, in his stead, it would cause too much anguish to Rabban Gamliel, and they appointed somebody else. They appointed Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The Meiri, one of the major commentaries on the Gemara, says that we find the same situation in the Machlokes of Korach, in the dispute that Korach had against Moshe and Aaron. And it says in the Torah that after the fire came and burnt all the 250 people, they were great people, but something went wrong somewhere. And the Gemara says that the fire pans that they prepared, as Moshe Rabbeinu told them, each one of you take a fire pan with ketores, and whoever Hashem will choose one person, and whoever Hashem will choose will be the Kohen. And of course, we all know the story, they all perished in the flame, none of them were chosen. But the fire pans remained holy. As it says in the Torah, Ki Kodeshu, the fire pans were still holy, And they had to use the pans to put around the Mizbeach, around the altar, because it was holy. Whoever wants to know more about this, of course, we want to bring out a certain point, but whoever wants to know more about this incredible story should see the commentaries. But we want to bring out one point. The question is, it says in the Torah, Emer el Elazar ben Aaron, tell Elazar, the son of Aaron, v'yorem es hamachtos, to be able to lift up the fire pans and put them on the Mizbeach. But Aaron himself was not chosen to do that. And the Meiri is saying that just like in the Machlokes, in the dispute that the people had against Rabbi Gamliel, they wouldn't appoint Rabbi Yeshua, who was, of course, fit to be the Nasi. They would not invite him to be the Nasi of Klal Yisrael, because it would cause too much Chalishas Hadas. It would cause too many not good feelings to have Rabbi Yeshua, the Baal Maisa, the person who Rabbi Gamliel was caused that distress to. He was not chosen. Rabbi Yeshua was not chosen. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was chosen, and similarly, the Meiri says also, if Aaron himself would have picked up, even though all the people were dead already, they were burnt, all those that contested his leadership, his being the Kohen, but if Aaron himself would have been commanded, Aaron was not commanded to pick up those fire pans, but his son was, Elazar ben Aaron, and the Meiri says it's the same reasoning as by Rabbi Gamliel. Just like if Rabbi Yeshua would be the Nasi of Klal Yisrael, it would cause Chalishas Hadas, it would cause hard feelings to Rabbi Gamliel. So too, it would be putting down. If Aaron would be commanded to pick up those fire pans, it would have been stepping on the 250 people who sided with Moshe, who sided with Korach, and that would have been putting him down too much. So therefore Hashem commanded it should be done through Elazar and not through Aaron. And the question is, what is the comparison between Rabbi Gamliel, the holy Rabbi Gamliel, who for some reason caused distress to Rabbi Gamliel, to Rabbi Yeshua? What is the comparison between that and the 250 people that the Torah itself calls them chatoim benafshaisam, sinners with their souls, for making a machlokes and contesting the kahuna, the priesthood of Aaron HaKohen. And also it says in the Torah calls them atov v'chol adoscha hanoyodim. Those 250 people were congregated al Hashem, against Hashem. Hashem wanted Aaron to be the Kohen. So these are sinners. They started out well, but they wound up being sinners. And a fire came from heaven and took their lives. Are we so worried about their honor? Are we so worried the Torah could not ask Aaron to pick up these pans, these fire pans, the holy fire pans, because even though the 250 people were already dead, they were burned, but still it would be stepping on their honor. What kind of comparison is it to Rabbi Gamliel? Rabbi Gamliel was the Prince of Israel. He was a Kodosh. He was holy, and whatever went on there has to be studied. But he was a holy person, very holy person, and here we have to treat him with respect. We can't appoint Yehoshua, the one he was causing distress to. We can't appoint him to be the leader of Klal Yisrael, because that would cause anguish to the holy Rabbi Gamliel. But the 250 people that the Torah calls them sinners, and that they were fighting against Hashem, and a fire came from heaven to consume them. Why are we worried about their kavod? Who cares? If they're sinners anyway, why shouldn't the Torah command Aaron to pick up those fire pans, So it'll be stepping over. It'll be stepping on the toes of the 250 people. So what? They deserve it. That's the question. Hagoyin Reb Chaim Shmulevich Zechet Tzadik Levracha tells us a little bit that we have to know what it means, Bein Adam L'Chaveirei, what it means to put somebody down, what it means to give honor to the creations of Hashem. It's not only that we have to fear for the honor of the great Rabbi Gamliel, the Prince of Israel, the holy Rabbi Gamliel. It's not only we have to worry about his honor, and we can't appoint Rabbi Yeshua to be the Nasi, the prince in his stead, but even people that the Torah itself calls Chatoim, sinners, contesting Aaron, fighting against Hashem, their honor is not hefker. It's not just up for grabs. You can't just step on people. Even if the Torah gives out punishment to them, tremendous punishment, that fire came from heaven to consume them. But that's it. We can't just heap more and more and more and more punishment upon them. The Torah places upon them the punishment they deserve, and that's it. We have no right. They're human beings. They're human beings, and human beings cannot be stepped on. And this is our lesson. It's not only a holy person we can't step on his toes. We can't put him down. But even chatoim b'nafshoisam, even sinners fighting against Hashem, the Torah tells us punishment for them. They will be burnt, and they were burnt, and they were killed. But that's it. We're not allowed to put one iota more upon them than the Torah dishes out, because they're human beings, and a human being, we have to be very careful with his honor. Shem should help us understand the meaning of Bein Adam L'Chaveirei, that we have to give respect to each one. We can't put anybody down in any manner, form, or shape, and that's what the Torah demands of us, and we should be zeicher to fulfill this. Amen v'amen.